What
All
is
right.
up,
Well, Dave's got
everybody?
go, Dave. Go.
What is up, everybody? David here, along with two great gentlemen. One to that side that you already know, Tyson from Faithfully Bearded, and below us is one for me, one of the originals that I started watching even in the beginning of my beard journey, not just for beard stuff, but just man stuff in general. This is George Bruno, aka the Sultan of Silver, and many other great hats that he's worn throughout the time that I've been watching his channel. So this is a long road that I think with many curves that we can go down. I think where I kind of want to start is George, where you got started with the motivational stuff. I know beard and hair cutting and all of that is along the way, but just the men's movement. Like, I know you're at the 21 convention all the time. I've watched many great videos from many great speakers from that. So why don't we kind of ease into it and start? What made you want to start helping men in general, like getting the information out there?
Yeah, I think I'm a natural teacher. I mean, I taught in 5 colleges. I'm an academic and psychotherapist by my background, so I've been helping people a long time. Even as a young man in Boy Scouts, I got every skill award that had to do with people, every merit badge that had to do with people. I mean, I was great with stuff, fires and knots and tents and stuff, but anything that had something to do with people, I was interested in. I got the Religious Service Award. I was in Order of the Arrow. I was in Law Enforcement Explorers. I kind of worked my way up. My initial education was in forensics, the science of criminology, that type of thing. They used to call it criminalistics, but I haven't heard that word in many years. I guess the forensic TV shows took that over. Studied to be a psychotherapist, and then I studied for the ministry after that. And again, all interested in working with people. I got my barber license, which is my family trade. So everybody in my family cuts hair. So my Italian grandfather said, always have something you can do with your hands. And I was the first person in my family to go to college. And he was so happy about that, but you still had to do something with your hands, whether it be lay brick or do cement or plumbing or carpentry or auto mechanic or something. And boy, has that served me well, as after 22 years listening to people and helping them with their problems and teaching, I got kind of burnt out. So I went to cutting hair. But here was the issue. I went from sitting in front of people, helping them as a therapist, to standing behind their chair, cutting their hair, helping them. So it was just a natural flow. So there have been many attacks on me in the past few years where people will say, "You're just a barber. Like, what do you know about anything?" And that's just a great comedic routine. Just a barber. I should actually just write a book called Just a Barber.
Just a barber.
But, yeah. I always believe that people should be dual skilled, have a fallback, have something they can fall back on. Last time I checked, a lot of the white collar tie wearing people are laid off and collecting unemployment. And who's making the $75 an hour? It's the auto mechanics and the guys in the trades. Right. Try bringing a plumber to your house for less than $200 just to get them in your front door. It's $200. So I love the trades. So my thing went from pushing academics to pushing the trades, and I'm all about the trades. And I do not push anyone into college anymore at all. I try to influence as many to go into the trades as possible. Grew my first beard at 15 years old, patchy, trying to look older for the girls. Grew kind of like a semi mustache to try to, get into clubs and do things that older boys would be able to do. At that time, driver's licenses did not have pictures on them. It was just a printed card, literally a printed piece of stiff paper. And that's what a driver's license was. So I could take a friend's license who was already 18 years old. This was in New York, where the drinking age was 18. And I could present his license and get in somewhere, and they wouldn't be checking the picture, with the person. Plus, I had a mustache. So, my God, that got me into strip clubs at a very young age. It got me into just places that I hate to admit that I went to. And long story short, I've had probably 20 different facial hairstyles over the years. Everything from goatees to soul patches to Van Dykes to mutton chops to big giant porno mustaches to a big giant black beard that was curly like a big afro to and then when my hair turned gray, it went straight, which taught me one thing, that the cells that make the color in your hair shaft also contribute to the structure of your beard. When my hair turned gray, it went straight. I used to have a curly beard. It was literally, I would pick it out. Now I could just take a comb. And I used to be able to just put a comb in my beard and let it just sit there. It would just stay there. If I put a comb in my beard now, it would just like fall straight through. There's no body to my beard anymore. So the hair went straight. I can't explain it, but that's what happened when I went gray. And I went gray in a period of about 1 year. Literally, It was like the year after my divorce. I had like a little salt and pepper, a little salt and pepper on the sides. Everyone would say, "Oh, it looks so distinguished." And, I would color it every now and then, and just because I was tired of it. And then after a divorce, that gray started growing. Then within 1 year, boom, the hair and the beard turned white. So
that's what I'm waiting for.
There's the story. And be careful what you wish for. So and basically,
go ahead, George.
I started the YouTube channel as a men's grooming channel. I posted my first video the other day on my channel, the first video that I ever did, which is about 30 seconds long. And my beard was already about that big when I posted that. And I never did a beard journey, as a lot of people do, where they say, okay, today's the first day I'm not shaving, and you're going to follow me for a year as my beard grows. And they do all these periodic videos and such. I started my channel, my men's grooming channel, when my beard was already pretty big. And as I started giving facial hair tutorials and how to trim your mustache and what to do if your beard is lopsided and how to trim the line above, how to trim the line below, how much product should you use, what are the different products. And then I started seeing some guys that were like lining their beards up a little bit too much and feminizing their beards and being a little too, it's not even the word metrosexual. I don't know what it is. I remember once I lined up my beard and someone accused me of having a fake beard. They said, you pasted that beard on your face. I'm like, I did? Because it was like so perfect. It looked like a theatrical beard, that like the kind where you literally glue on your face. And I thought, that's because it's so the lines are so perfect. But to me, it was also like feminine looking. And I said, guys, women love saying, I can do that too. Oh, I can do whatever a man can do. No, you can't. You can't grow a beard. So it's the last bastion of manhood and masculinity. So grow a beard, guys, because women can do everything you can do. Now, when guys start lining their beards up a little too much, it's what I call feminizing the beard. For instance, I don't cut the hair. Like your beard grows back a little bit. It just doesn't grow straight down here. There's a little bit of hair back here. That's kind of like under your earlobe. There's people and there's these barbers, and I know it started in the urban areas. And that's a whole different vibe. The black guys can pull off the lined up beards and it looks fantastic. When a white guy does it, to me, you can't do it. So I think, like, for instance, I'm not going to go to a black barber because I can talk color here. I don't care. I can go to a black barber and he's not going to be able to trim my beard the way that I want. He's not going to do it. A black guy can come and sit in my chair, and there's just no way in the world that I can get those like perfect angles, and like I don't do that. That's not part of my skill set. That's part of a different segment's skill set, and that's neither good nor bad. Black guys, Spanish guys look fantastic with their beards lined up. It's a great look. A white guy, Caucasian guy, lighter skinned guy, whatever the word of the damn day is, we look better with a natural beard. So when I say don't trim off that back part, you're feminizing your beard. It has a more masculine look. It has a heftier look when you don't trim off the balls of your beard. And I said 4 years ago, don't castrate your beard. People are like, oh my God. You know, like, how dare he say that? Well, then I started talking about what is a masculine look? What does a masculine beard look like? And how it can take a guy that's got a baby face and make him look more mature. That's when I kind of broke into the area of teaching men about masculinity, the difference between men and women, complementarianism, not egalitarianism. I don't like if a man and a woman are equal in a household, then they're just roommates. Then why get married? Complementarianism is man is not better than a woman. Woman is not better than a man. We complement each other. We're not meant to conquer each other. We're meant to complement each other. She can do things that I can't do. I can do things that she can't do. So I started kind of differentiating and weaving my teaching into my grooming advice. And that's where it went. And that's how it started. And here I am 4.5 years later with that YouTube channel. I don't know. It's 140 something thousand. I'd lost track. I don't keep track of numbers like I used to. And I've become basically the father that a lot of people never had. And people usually find me after a divorce, after a breakup, after a father dies, that type of thing. I have moms and 14-year-old boys that watch me every day. I have wives that say, honey, come here, to their husband and say, let's watch this guy. And I can't go anywhere in the world without being recognized. Of course, now when I shave my beard, it's like Clark Kent. You know, like when Clark Kent puts on the glasses, everyone's like, wait, where'd Superman go?
Where'd he go?
Yeah, exactly. When I shave off my beard, nobody knows me. It's kind of like the best, what do they call that? The government, the witness protection program kind of thing. But with the white beard, it's a very distinguished, not distinguished look. It could be a distinguished look. It's a very distinctive. That's Greg Brzezinski. He's distinguished.
Yeah.
I'm distinctive. There is a difference. So it has become part of my character. It has become part of my persona. It is who I am. I don't even recognize me. Literally, the day that I shaved off my beard, I'll never forget. I don't know, a few years ago, I shaved it off. I lost 5,000 subscribers like in 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
Fact. That is a fact. And honest to God, I'd be walking down a sidewalk in the city and look in the front, see my reflection in the front windows. And I thought there was someone else looking back at me. I didn't even recognize myself after having the big white beard. So it became so much part of my identity that literally I would have to do a double take and go, oh, wow, that is me, isn't it?
So I was watching one of the videos of the 21 conference, and
Yep.
It was all of you guys were lined up, I'm guessing all the keynote speakers, and it had come to you, and you made a comment that I think not just as bearded guys or in general, like I'm a big fan of teaching masculinity. Like I think that's one of the huge advantages of your channel and just all the things you talk about. But the comment was, live your truth. Just because you don't get immediate results doesn't mean you aren't right. That is some of the best advice there's a lot of new content creators that are in the room with us, a couple companies. And that's just some advice that I think everyone can take with them. And for me, that is like the summation. And I've actually seen comments. I think it was you're showing men how to walk, posture video.
Yeah.
You were, I think, also at a 21 convention in Poland. And somebody in there, George, you're like the dad I never had. That is such a great following. So we go from your background in criminology, the CSI, I guess, like you said, everybody would know it now, into the barbering, which you said was a family thing. So how was it? Seems like that'd be like a natural transition, but really, when I think of a barbershop, I remember going to barbershops with my dad when I was younger. That's where all the counseling happened for guys, right? So it seems like it would
sure did
a natural progression. So why don't we talk about that a little bit? Like getting into the barbering, I know your 5-star ratings are out of this world. I know you and I have talked a little bit about some heads that you've cut or some beards that you've trimmed. So how about we get into that? Like, what are some of the great advantages you've noticed being who you are and being in the shop, like just meeting guys and counseling there? Like, I'm sure there's some cool things that have come out of that.
Yeah. Men come from 29 states, not that I'm counting or anything, and 8 countries to get their hair cut and their beards trimmed. The joke where I work is, what country are they coming from today?
That's amazing.
I work in a salon. I started a men's grooming studio at the salon. So I'm not like with a bunch of chicks in a salon area with blow dryers and flat irons. I have my own studio in a complete different section of the salon. It's very masculine. The girls, there's a bathroom back there. I have my own bathroom. And sometimes the girls come back to use that bathroom, which is a big lie, because they just want to hear what the men are talking about.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. I remember working in one barbershop where a Lamborghini pulls up in front of the barbershop, and one of the other barbers says, "Oh, that must be one of George's clients," and it wasn't. He just went to another business. But I just thought, what a compliment that is.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I developed am I doing anything different than anyone else? No, I'd say my service is probably better than anyone else. My technical skills are okay. I give a good haircut. I give a 10 out of a 10, out of a 10 rating. I give a 10 beard shaping. I don't line people up. I don't do that cheese wedge kind of thing with people. I don't, that's a whole different vibe. My consult might last 20 to 30 minutes. Getting to know the man. How can I work on the man and make him look better if I know nothing about him? So it's kind of a pre-service interview, and then I start, and people think, like, man, why does he spend so much time talking to those people? And then when I get the $100 tip, when I was doing $12 haircuts, I was getting $100 tips.
Nice.
And that wasn't because my technical skills were any better than the other barbers. As a matter of fact, some of the other barbers were better than me. But my service was on point. And I did something with them that no one else would do. And that was listen to them.
Absolutely. And you still do like, what did I see the other day? Like over the internet, Zoom or whatever, counselings for guys, don't you? Like one-on-ones?
Yeah, I do one-on-one coaching, and I do beard and hair consultations as well. It's $100 for a 30-minute session, and they're lined up out the door for those. I have to find little pockets of time to do the 30-minute consults.
So speaking of,
go ahead. Somebody actually said, "Wait a minute, you make more money for a beard consult on Skype than you do for an actual beard trim in person." I go, yeah.
That's nice. So you and Brzezinski are kind of in the same area, right?
We are. Yeah.
Brzezinski was actually on with a friend of ours the other night. Very interesting. And we actually had an interview last week where you came up quite frequently with Greg Boswell, who is...
Oh, good old Greg. Yes, of course.
Another... I really, for me, I want to see more channels switch into the not even necessarily motivation, just the straight shot of hey, this is what's worked for me. Why are you not doing something else? Because I'm that kind of person. Like if someone tells me, well, maybe you should, and that comes back to the whole demasculinization. Guys have gotten so used to pampering. Oh, I just like a straight shot better. So there's a way you start your videos, right? The daybreak videos, which has become quite popular. And Tyson actually kind of threw a montage into it as he's stirring his drink with chopsticks. And another reviewer actually had done that. I saw it, I guess it was last night. I was looking through the IG stream in Hungarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mick.
No, Bulgarian.
What's it, Bulgarian?
Bulgarian, yeah, which I had never heard that language before.
Yeah,
and I was sending it to all my friends saying, take a guess what the language is. They're like, it's Slavic, Estonia, like no one got Bulgaria. So,
What's funny about the guy that did that is he actually speaks fluent Hebrew as well. We're both Jewish. So
wonderful.
So that guy wear another many hats. But how did that whole stirring the chopsticks thing happen?
Oh, it's really funny. I'm an early riser. I get up before everybody. I used to get up when I was married. I'd get up at 4, be in the gym by 5, be back home by 6. But I go downstairs and I was stirring my coffee with a spoon, which sounds like you're ringing a dinner bell. When the house is like really quiet, you can hear everything in the house. And just imagine you're stirring coffee with a spoon. And it just like wakes, like the baby would start crying. It's like when my kids were little, like many years ago. Baby would start crying. Wife would get mad. You woke everybody up. And I'm like, so like one day I'm just like looking in the drawer and there's chopsticks. And I started stirring my coffee with chopsticks. Well, when I started like my coffee talks in the morning, I'd be stirring the coffee with chopsticks. And someone said, why do you stir your coffee with chopsticks? And of course, being the spontaneous person and able to joke without cracking a smile, I said, oh, that's the vortex method.
It's the only true way.
And they said, what do you mean? I said, you don't know that? It's the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. They're like, wow. So it's kind of, so it started with that. And that just became a thing until like half the world is now stirring their coffee with chopsticks and sending me pictures and videos of it. And it just became a thing. And it's kind of like, like I did like a video of me, kind of like a candid video of me introducing myself to a woman. I've been divorced 17 years. Married men don't introduce themselves to single women, but single guys do. So I did a candid video of me introducing myself and kind of pulling some game on a woman because somebody just wanted a live candid thing and someone else was taking the video and someone said, oh man, look at George using the vortex method on that woman. And it just became a thing. So like everything I do the vortex method on and at the molecular level. Yeah. So it just grew, and it's kind of like the biggest goof in the world. And it's and I'm happy about it. I do everything now at the molecular level.
Yeah, it's you definitely know you're in the right place when you hear that opening statement, which is hilarious. So I think another 21 convention. I like to come back to the 21 convention because I think there's so much great stuff that comes out of it.
Yeah.
But you said networking, right? You're like a natural networker. You said, I'll be somewhere, and you ask him, who do you need to meet? Right? I guess is the question. I think if I remember. Correct. So how has that helped out? Like, so as I'm a newer YouTube creator. I haven't been around a year yet. Tyson's been in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Most of the guys in the room are about the same. We all kind of maybe a year if we're lucky. But so what would your recommendation be networking wise? You know, like how do you get into that? You know, with us, it's like the Dan C's, the No BS Beard Reviews, the Tysons of Faithfully Bearded, and Scott. So what would be your best advice to help someone come up like that? You know, you have a very successful channel. So what would be your advice to kind of bring up a network within the community, I guess?
There's the classic question, how can I help you? Most people don't know how to answer that, but most people know who they need to meet. You're only one person away from one person that can change your life. So when I started asking people that question, not how can I help you? I used to run a networking group that had about 3,000 people in it. And it started with 12 people. I would be at the door. It was a free networking group. It was once a month on Thursday nights. People would come in. I'd say, what's your name? Oh, John Smith. Great. What do you do, John? All right. You're a plumber. You're an actor. You're an auto mechanic. You're a financial guy. Okay. Next month would come and I'd go, John Smith, financial guy. He'd be like, yeah, you remembered. I said, yeah, great. I go, John, who do you need to meet tonight? He says, I want to go to the next level in my career. He says, I want to have my own business as a broker. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take you over and introduce you personally to someone who does exactly that. And I would introduce them. They would shake hands. And I would say, I'm going to let you two guys talk. And then I'd go back to the front door. Next person. Sally, how are you? Good to see you. You have a clothing store, right? Oh my gosh, George, I can't believe you remembered that. Of course I would. Who do you need to meet tonight? And I became what Malcolm Gladwell calls a connector, which is kind of like the next level of networking. Most people go to networking meetings thinking, who can I meet to make money? Who can I meet that's going to benefit me? If you go to a networking meeting, change that to how can I benefit other people? I'm there to help other people. I go to networking meetings and I start talking like, most people just sit around with a drink in their hand at a networking meeting, hey, what's up? And talking to the same 2 or 3 people all night. I want to meet people. If there's 200 people at a networking meeting or a business card exchange, I want to meet all 200. So I do that. At the end of the night, at a meeting that's not mine, people come up to me and go, oh, your meeting was great. Thank you so much. And I'm like, I'm an attendee just like you. This is not that guy over there with the bow tie on. That's the guy you need to thank. So I take my networking very seriously because networking is what made me wealthy, not just talking to 3 people. So right. Every dollar you make in your lifetime, you're going to make because of people, period. So be good with people or take acting lessons. That's what I teach. Act like you're good with people. Well, I'm not really good with people. Well, then act like you are. Fake it the whole time. No one will know the difference.
We have a question from the chat.
Yeah.
T-Bearded Strickland. From your old videos, has your thoughts changed on hair shampoo versus beard wash?
I like the idea of using something that's about as strong as baby shampoo. We want mild. I want to remove environmental matter, particulate matter, food. I don't want to strip the oil, natural oils from my beard. I don't mind stripping yesterday's beard balm off my beard, but I don't want to. You see, God gives us these beautiful things called sebaceous oil glands, and they're included in every follicle. And every time your hair grows a bazillionth of an inch or 1 micron, it's coated with this beautiful oil. And that's nature's conditioner. But when we keep stripping it off using Dawn dishwashing liquid or whatever the heck we're using, the reality is we're drying our skin out and we're drying the beard out. I taught for many years what's good for the skin is going to be good for the beard. People say, well, should I be using something different for this and for that? I'm like, think about, is it good for your skin? is it good for your skin? Because your hair grows out of the skin.
True
So
enough.
what I'm not going to do is strip off nature's most perfect conditioner, and that's the oil that naturally accompanies my hair growth. Simple as that. So I'd say the milder, the better. You want to check out a video called The Trouble with Soap. Someone just pointed that out to me in the past couple of weeks, and it was about how we're stripping all the stuff off of our skin and hair. And that, like, I've gotten to the point in my life, literally, where I use soap on my armpits, my private parts, and my feet. That's it. I do not lather up a sponge and do like the commercials do, and I look like a big bubbly mess. I don't do that. Armpits, south of the border, feet. That's it. You don't need water, as this one dermatologist said. Water is the best solvent in the world. Water will remove anything that you need to be removed without stripping the acidic and oil mantle that naturally covers your skin. The whole idea of scrubbing your skin every night, every day, absolutely ridiculous. You're opening yourself up to sickness. And you know what? We have more disease now than we ever have in the history of man. So water is a beautiful thing. I've gotten to the point now where I wash my beard. I wash my beard once a week just because I don't want to strip off the oils. I don't mind washing off the beard balm, beard butter, and beard oils that I applied. But for me, I like a more natural beard. It's actually softer. I started advocating co-washing with guys many, long before anyone even mentioned it in any beard videos. And that's basically conditioner washing. You're washing your beard with conditioner. And I tell guys, if you co-wash for 3 days, by the third day, you will have a different beard. Literally. Have your wife put on a blindfold and feel your face. She'll act like she's feeling another man's face. It'll be like, wow, that's not your beard. She'll rip off the blindfold. Oh my God, it is you.
Nice.
I'm joking with that, but it does soften the beard, and I think what it does, it restores the natural wave or curl that we all have. And it's just better, I think, for the hair. I mean, I have a 1000x microscope that I have where I cut hair. And I show guys what their beards and their hair and their scalps look like at 1000x power on the laptop screen. They're like, holy crap. And I show them the damage that they've done to their hair and their scalp and their beards by screwing with it. So less is more.
That's a good advice. Tyson, you've been awful quiet. I'll let you. It's your turn.
All right. Yeah, I was just putting comments up here on the screen. So I got a couple comments in the chat for you. But one of the questions is your favorite haircut to cut. I would assume that means like style, your favorite style to cut.
I like doing a gentleman's cut. I like using all scissors. I'm not a clipper guy. One guy said to me, well, why wouldn't you like clippers? Because, they cut at 14,000 RPMs and they can do a haircut faster. My goal is not to do a fast haircut. My goal is to do a great haircut. And with scissors, I have more precision. Hair lays nicer. It blends better when it's cut with shears. You don't get that prickly porcupine look. I know when I do haircuts on guys who want clipper cuts, you feel the hair. It feels prickly. No one should have like porcupine head. When I use a comb, like a comb and shears going up, you feel the hair. It's soft. It blends. Literally, I tell people my haircuts last longer. They're like, how can that be? I said, because it blends nicer. My haircuts blend better than anyone's that I know, which means you can get 6 weeks out of a haircut. When you do a clipper cut, and people say, well, you got to do it the right way. I've been cutting hair for 43 years. I know what I'm talking about. So here's the deal. When you cut hair with clippers, Like I got a neighbor across the street that mows his lawn. Okay. I got a landscaper that cuts my grass. My grass cutting days are over with. But I remember when I would cut the grass, I would just go back and forth, until it's done. The guy across the street, he goes like this, and then he goes, and then he does like the angle cut where it looks like a herringbone pattern, and he's really concerned about the pattern of his grass. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a little redundant if you ask me. To me, cutting hair with clippers gives you the mowed lawn look on your hair. That might look good a week later. How about this? Guys get married or they have an event to go to. Hey, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. Shall I come in like a week before and get my hair cut? And I'm like, and I trap them with this. I go, why a week before? Well, because haircuts always look better a week after. And I'm like, you've been going to the wrong barber all these years. You can come to me on the day of your wedding and walk out looking like a GQ model. You don't have to. My haircuts don't have a delayed reaction. Like I cut the hair and then a week later it looks good, which is what most people think. That's what happens when you use mainly clippers. So I'm a big scissor guy, but I do what I call like a gentleman's cut, which is short on the sides, longer on top, a tapered nape of the neck. And it grows in nice. When I taper rather than taking the clippers and just making a line in the back of the neck, whenever you put a line into something, within 2 to 3 days, that line starts looking ratty. Okay. And then within a week or two, like most guys start thinking they need a haircut about 2 to 3 weeks after they get a haircut. And then they go, well, I can't go back. It's only been 2 or 3 weeks. So then they look like shit for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then they break down, and then they go and get a haircut. The reason why I taper the back of the haircut is hair grows in naturally. Hair does not have a line in the back. Okay? When you taper it, which means it comes up from the skin and it's like a sunrise. It just gradually becomes more dense. When that hair grows in, it grows down the back of the neck and looks very natural. Whenever you put a line, it's like if you line up your beard too much, guess what you got to do? You got to keep lining up your beard.
So we were talking about beard washes and conditioner, and you mentioned co-washing, and you said is washing with a conditioner. So that's somebody in the comments is asking, is a co-wash a conditioner only, or is it a 2-in-1?
Conditioner only. When I had the big beard, I co-washed every day and then used a cleanser 1 day a week. So I would say co-wash 6 days, cleanse 1 day. Now if you're like working on a road crew, you're in a machine shop, you're an auto mechanic, your beard's going to get dirty. So obviously co-washing is limited in its ability to remove environmental matter. Particulate matter is fine, but the environmental stuff, you don't want to go to bed smelling like diesel.
Right. Absolutely.
So for guys that do have dirty jobs, I do believe that cleansing is important because beards do catch things. I mean, I can't eat any. As soon as you guys watch, when you get older and your beards turn white, all of a sudden, what you eat, you're going to stop and you're going to think like, okay, can I put that in? You're eating chicken wings. You're going to be like, okay. Because I end up looking like when I have ribs or wings, I look like the Joker. I got like this reddish brown, like fake smile, like right across my face. And it looks exactly like Heath Ledger's Joker, where he just like went like that. And, the minute your beard turns white, you got to start thinking, okay, you kind of like make a mental inventory of what can make it not look white.
Yeah, I think I'm 99% sure I was watching one of your videos where you were talking about like you haven't really had the color change we see in a lot of white beards. A lot of white beards, it seems like they get that like almost gold yellow tint to it.
Yeah, brassy tint. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever you're doing must be working, because that I don't know if all the guys, if you guys in the chat have not seen George with his large beard, I would definitely recommend going to check that out. That is an amazing beard. It's just a great one. I hope mine gets it.
You go from like English gentleman to biker to Santa Claus to you just end up being like a wizard more than anything. I mean, literally, it was. I mean, when my beard was like English gentleman, I could wear a bow tie and a vest and have a different look. And then when it got longer and you couldn't even see the bow tie, people would be like looking to the side of me and they go, "Oh, you're wearing a bow tie," because it covered the bow tie. And I'm like, okay, so what's the sense of even wearing a bow tie? Then I went back to wearing ties because at least if the beard is down to here, at least you could see the rest of the tie coming down. And then it got to be like Santa Claus level, and I'd be sitting in a bar somewhere, in a club somewhere, and some girl would come up and like kind of rub up against me, like, how cats do. And she'd say, "Hey, Santa, I've been a good girl all year." And I'm like, no, actually, she didn't say Santa. She came up and said, "I've been a good girl all year." And I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm a great networker, but when I go to like bars, I just go there to drink and have a nice bar food. I want a plate of wings. I want a nice, a sandwich and listen to the band. I'm not there to pick up chicks or anything like that. And that's just not my vibe. So women literally would come up to me and start talking to me, "Do you like them naughty or nice?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then it struck me, oh, it's the Santa thing. I get it. Okay, naughty or nice. You've been a good girl all year. All right. Okay, cool. And then it went from Santa to Gandalf. And then I started getting like all the Lord of the Rings things thrown at me after a while. And, what did one guy say? One of the funniest things. It said, "Who left the gate open? One of the wizards escaped." That's one of the funniest things that was ever said about my beard.
It's a great beard. So what was I'm drawing a blank. The cigars, was it Beards?
Beards Without Borders.
Beards Without Borders, yeah. So talking about beards and whiskeys and cigars.
Yeah.
So have you tried like some of the cigar scented or cigar-esque beard butters? I know you're a big, was it Kingsman? You're a big Kingsman fan?
Yeah.
I know they have a couple. I think. Have you tried any of those?
Yeah. What it is, it's the tobacco smell as opposed, like when people think like tobacco, they like right here. I mean, I will puff on a pipe and here is like ashes. When people think tobacco, they think like ashes, or they think ashtrays, which is disgusting. I mean, if you just think about it, ashtrays. Okay. So when people hear tobacco, they're like, "Ooh, I wouldn't want my beard to smell like that." And I'm like, no. Tobacco is sweet. It's beautiful. I grow my own tobacco. This is last year's crop dried. Now watch. Ooh, it's sweet. Literally, it's sweet. It's like a cross between driving through Lancaster, PA on the day that they're cutting hay, and you're smelling that grassy hay kind of thing, and it's sweet. It's like they sprinkled it with brown sugar. That's natural. That's unflavored. Tobacco is naturally sweet. It's aromatic. It's beautiful. So when there's tobacco added to the aroma or fragrance of an oil or a beard balm, you're getting that sweet brown sugary hay kind of agricultural kind of vibe to it. And it's a magnificent smell. As a matter of fact, people, there's a lot of people who make tobacco wreaths because tobacco leaves are big. They're big leaves, and people will make a tobacco wreath that has, like 500 tobacco leaves wired around a wire frame, and they'll put it on their door. They put it in the kitchen, and it emits this lovely smell. People will just be like, "Wow, what is that smell?" It's the sweet tobacco. It's beautiful. Yeah.
So we have a company is going to give something away. It's a beard oil and a beard butter. to somebody, and I don't know how Tyson wants to work it out, but here's a beard company that has a question. Damn Yankee Beard. Pete says, do gray beards need different products than younger beards?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of some people have made the distinction between the white beeswax and the natural beeswax, which is yellow. I noticed that the accumulation of yellow beeswax beard balms does give my beard a more brassy look. The white beeswax products don't give it that brassy look. They usually are more expensive because of the process that is used to remove the color from the beeswax. So, oh yeah, there's a big difference. There are some oils that are clear. Many oils have that yellowish look. I don't use anything that has a yellowish look on my beard. So yeah, there's a big difference. If your beard is gray, silver, gray, or white, you really need to use the whiter waxes, butters, oils, that type of thing.
Is there an oil that would work better? Not maybe something that, not talking about color, but like as far as viscosity, the thickness of the oil, thinness, coating properties, anything like that?
I happen to like ultra emollient oils, like for instance, the Moroccan oil, which is also known as argan oil. For instance, if you took olive oil, a bottle of olive oil, and put it, just like on your arm, 2 hours from now, you're going to have an oil spot, a shiny oil spot. You could take the Moroccan oil, put it on your hand, on the top of your hand or whatever, and it just like soaks right into the skin. That's a lighter oil. I want something that's going to soak into my beard. I don't want something that's going to remain oily. And obviously now we all have smartphones. You'll find that the cheaper beard oils just keep your hands greasy all day. You can wipe them, you can rub them on your tats and your arms, like whatever. Wipe your hands on a towel after you apply your product. But you will leave fingerprints and smears on your phone all day long because of that. I noticed with the ultra emollients, there's less fingerprints, less smearing. But here's the thing: they cost a little bit more as far as the purchasing of the bulk products. So the companies that offer those kind of products, a lot of people moan and groan about how some products are so expensive. Well, when was the last time you tried actually sourcing high quality oils and products? They're not cheap. So you do get what you pay for. And everybody overuses everything. Let's get real. Everybody overuses it. I remember in one of my first beard oil videos that I ever did, and it was like the very same week that I started the channel, I said use 3 or 4 fingertips of oil. Trying to think if I have well, let's just say this is a very big bottle here, but let's say this is a beard oil bottle. I go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So the oil that's on these 4 fingertips is all I need for this beard. And then there's got the people with the eyedroppers. Just put like a dime or a nickel worth of oil. And I'm like, dude, you're just overdoing. You don't need to drown your beard in oil. Oil spreads. It's amazing, especially warm oil. As your face heats up the oil, it spreads and it populates all the hairs. And depending on what kind of brush you use, if you're using a boar bristle brush, you can really spread that oil, but you don't have to have a greasy beard. I remember, I came up in a day where there was no such thing as beard oil. I was actually using olive oil on my skin, and I had like a olive oil stain on my pillowcase. And like every collar, I remember my wife used to say, and this is like 20 years ago, guys, where literally every collared shirt that I had like oil on it. It was ridiculous. So everybody overuses their product. Listen to me right now, everybody watching this. Use literally 2/3 less than you're already using. Not only will your product last longer, but your beard will thank you. You are over-producting your beard. All of you are. All of you.
And there you have it, right from George Bruno himself. Try using 2/3 less product in your beard. I'm gonna do that now. I have the normal amount that I tend to go for, and I've noticed, especially in the summertime, I use less. But just the way it feels in the beard. So I'm actually gonna pay attention to that going forward and see how it works out. Anybody else? We're gonna do a giveaway here, but if you have questions, put them in there. We're running out of time here, but here's a question for you: do longer beards not require more oil? So should you put more oil in a longer beard?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's more real estate there. I mean, there's more lawn to fertilize. So you literally, I mean, as the beard gets huge, increase it by a finger pad of oil, that type of thing. One of the things you can do to help spread oil, butters and balms and all that stuff is heat your hands up. I mean, you have these fingerprints and lines in your hands. Just do this for 5 seconds before you put anything in your hand. It will literally make it spread easier. Even the thicker oils kind of get thinner in the presence of heat. And just make it a habit of just doing that 5 seconds and then putting the product on, putting the beard balm in, putting the oil on, that type of thing. Yeah. And also, too, you know how women have systems. Well, first I scrub my face, and then I put on a cleanser, not soap, it's cleanser. And then I do an exfoliant, and then I put on a moisturizer, and then I put it's like, oh my God. Like, and some of these beard companies have like all these systems, beard product companies. This is what I do. I get out of the shower, I towel dry, I blot my beard, and then I put on the oil, brush my hair, put a little bit of baby powder on my armpits. I don't use deodorant anymore. I don't need to. My armpits don't smell. Here's the weird thing. If I use deodorant now, like today, tomorrow my armpits would reek. Go figure. It's weird. Since I stopped, and it seems almost antithetical, doesn't it? Isn't it creepy to think that the very product that you use to stop something creates that very thing? It's weird. So then I go into the bedroom and I get dressed and whatever. And then before I leave the house in the morning, that's when I put the beard balm on and kind of groom the beard. I might put a little bit of mustache wax and kind of like, you know, handlebar them or whatever. But I don't put everything on, get dressed, and then leave for the day. I put the oil on, get dressed, come back, put the balm on, groom the beard. Because remember, there's 2 steps when you work with your beard. There's application and grooming. 2 completely different steps when it comes to applying product. It's like when guys put on pomade on their hair, they put it on one side. What you want to do is literally, I always say, pretend there's a wagon wheel that's lowered on your head. The hub is right in the middle of your head, and you apply the product up each spoke, going to the middle. So you want to literally coat all the hair before you style your hair. There's application and then grooming. Same thing with the beard. Application and then grooming.
Nice.
Yeah, super good advice there. Hey, Dave, how do you want to do you have a question that you would want to do that maybe everybody might not know, maybe off of George's channel or something?
Yeah, but I don't know how many would get it. Why don't you just throw a random number out?
We can do that.
So,
do you believe in beard butter? Do you use beard butter, or are you kind of a balm guy? What do you use? Do you put in product before bed?
Yeah, I use everything. Beard butter usually doesn't have beeswax in it, so it's a great product, a great alternative for guys that are allergic to beeswax for whatever reason. Beard butter, you know, it's a great thing. Again, use less than you think. There's the law of diminishing returns. A lot of guys think that the more I use, the better I'll look. It's the less you use, the better you look. So I've used everything. I use balm, butter, oil, mustache wax. I mean, when I've been on camera, like doing commercials and doing, on camera work, I actually used hairspray on my beard. Literally, just like like a woman would spray her hair. I went shh, and then shaped my beard so perfectly because, if you're in front of a camera for 6 hours, every time they go cut, you can't be like, fixing your beard and making sure that, So I literally ended up like freezing my beard with like hairspray. So it was like, literally it was like hard. And then at the end of the day, I'd be like under the shower just like for 5 minutes just to loosen up the gunk as it, washes off the beard. But I've used a million different things. But for everyday use, different textures and porosity of the hair will determine the product you use and the amount of product that you use.
That's really weird, Tyson. Tyson has been doing a series on porosity. So that's
yeah. I've been doing a lot of research on porosity and in the middle of doing a series basically on it, making videos about the different types of products and porosities. But if you guys want to do a random number for a giveaway, a number between 1 and 15 would be fantastic. And the first one to get it on my screen will win a bundle. Is it Renewed Man?
It's Renewed Man, yeah.
Oil, butter from Renewed Man.
Which, since
never mind, we got to win our first guess.
Who is it? Strickland?
Yeah. First guess got it right there. So there you go.
While we're bringing up just to bring it up, the reason I really talked to Jared at Renewed Man about this particular interview is because I know George likes cigars. So I'd be really interested to hear George's take. A friend of ours just did a series called the King's Torsador series in oils and balms and butters. I'm going to have to talk to Jared, see if we can't get George out. Maybe the Black Mint Maduro scent. It's a gentleman's scent. I love it.
Nice.
Are you more of do you do cigars or are you more of a pipe smoker?
I like pipes and cigars. I'm not an inhaler in any way. I like anything that lasts a long time. Like I always tell guys, like, if you only have 5 minutes to kill, do not light a cigar or a pipe. You better have 30 to 45 to 60 minutes. It's a tool for the soul. It's not just a vice. It's a tool for the soul. You can unwind at the end of a day with a pipe or a cigar. If you rush it, it burns too hot, tastes like crap. When you puff it properly, you're not in a hurry, it does something magical for the soul. It makes you think, it slows you down.
Yeah, even like the Fuente short story Maduros, which is like one of my go-to cigars. I'm a big nice Fuente fan. Even those, you better have 30 minutes, and you're right. That's just great metaphorical advice for life in general. Like if you try to just burn through something, everything will go absolutely wrong. Yeah, that's I like that. So speaking of cigars, what's your go-to?
I am a Fuente fan. I tend to like the 898s.
Nice.
It's a great mild cigar. When I was younger, I enjoyed Maduro. When you're younger, you want everything strong whiskey, I like my whiskey like I like my women. And, and it's like, as I've gotten older, I want a mild cigar. I want a feminine woman. I want like a nice, like mild bourbon. I've kind of like mellowed out from the dark wrapper, from the strong whiskey and the beer maiden kind of look kind of thing. And, so like now I have like this very beautiful, feminine, ladylike, woman in my life. And, she plays that role wonderfully. And she's not opposed to cigars or pipes, and she likes the way they smell and doesn't complain about it. You smell. Why do you got to smoke those things?
Good for my soul.
It's like, oh my God. They were okay when you first met me, weren't they? Now all of a sudden, See where all of this naturally leads into my coaching, because there's guys going, holy crap, he just described my girlfriend and my wife.
Yeah.
Or my last two, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so in respect for your time, I don't know how long you have, but
I got all the time you want.
Question: are you a sports fan? And if
Not
so,
at all. Sports is the opiate of the masses. I stopped being, me personally, I stopped being interested in sports when I stopped playing them. I played all sports when I was younger. I don't watch TV. I'm not interested in anyone's stats. I'm not interested in anything like that. I don't like sports at all. I don't watch them. I tell people to turn them off. I'd rather read a book than watch a sports game. Even the sound of sports is like nails on a chalkboard to me.
So you're sitting down, you got time, you're going to pick up a book. What are you reaching for?
Well, funny that you mentioned that. I'm working my way for the 5th time through The Haunted Bookshop by Christopher Morley, my second favorite author in the world. Christopher Morley. I recommend anything by Christopher Morley. He was very active around the turn of the 19th century, and you better have a dictionary next to you when you read him. And he's not on Kindle, I don't think. So you actually have to get a paper and ink book. As a matter of fact, this book is from 1955. Hold on a second. The smell of 1955. But this book was written in 1911. The story was written in 1911. So forgive me, Father, for I have sinned for reading a second edition book.
This was part of a very small part of the conversation we had with Boswell, who's also an active reader, which, we were talking about. I think Tyson asked both of us, like, what does reading do for you? You know what I mean? And we were discussing. For me, it's just, you nailed it. Like, opening a book takes me to a different place. And especially that era of writing, like that time when people were writing was just the way the world should always be, like we were talking about the brothers Karamazov, which, I don't know if you've read it or not.
Of course I have. Yeah.
One of my go-tos that I tell everybody, if you can't read the whole book, that's great. Read that section on religion, like the conversation that is happening. And I don't know, books just do it I'm the same way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm from Kansas City. I'm obligated to be a Chiefs fan. But I would rather be sitting down reading a book from a time that it's just a different time. It brings you to that place or to that time. And
it's not the same as an audiobook. It's not the same as watching a video. When you read a book, a movie plays in your mind. When you watch a movie, the movie does all the work for you. So I think reading makes you stronger. It gives you a better vocabulary, makes you more competent in your communication skills. I have 5 or 6 books going at all times.
Nice.
Where do you think the future of masculinity is at?
An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. That's one of the laws of physics. You know that, okay? Masculinity is under fire right now. Gillette called it toxic masculinity. I predicted a couple years ago that eventually all masculinity will be considered toxic. With the introduction of phytoestrogens through soy, hence the derogatory phrase soy boy, we have 21-year-old boys that have men. When I was 21, I was bench pressing 350 pounds and boxing. This was prior to jiu-jitsu, BJJ, and all this kind of stuff. It was boxing, judo. There wasn't even karate back then, or wrestling. That's what the gyms were doing. Men were men. Boys had rites of passage. It was okay to go and bag your first deer at 13, 14 years old. It's okay, to, like a coach right now can get fired for, like out on the football field. If someone's not making it, player's not making it, and the coach says, "Oh, man up, will you?" That coach can get fired for saying "man up." Like, what the hell? is going on? What the hell? You know, I mean, women, okay, you got the waves of feminism. First wave is I can do anything a man can do. Second wave, I am equal to you. Third wave, I am a man. So it's at this point now where femininity has gone. So, and what happens is you only have to amp up your masculinity to attract a woman. You don't need game. You don't need to try anything. You just need, like when I say be a man to somebody, there's a generation that has no idea what that means and they're offended by it. Masculinity looks great on a man. It looks horrible on a woman. Femininity looks great on a woman, but looks horrible on a man. And I have a growing number of female clientele that are saying, my God, I bought the lie of feminism. I bought that lie. I thought career was number one, and then I can start a family and all this. And I'm like, what do you wear to work? They're like, what do you mean? I go, what do you wear to work? And they tell me, like a pantsuit. And I said, start wearing dresses. Ooh, how do you wear your hair? Well, up in a bun. I'm like, start wearing it down. Start being feminine. When women, you go on the dating sites, every woman's a strong, independent woman. We're all strong, independent women. If you saw my interview with Jennifer Molesky, who's great, you got to see that interview. It's
amazing.
I get goosebumps thinking about that conversation I had with her, and I hit it off really well with her. And it was just a total mutual respect fest that we had. But she said something, she goes, on first dates, women, will spend 2 hours telling a man like how strong she is. And then she wonders why at the end of the date, he wants to go Dutch.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think,
sometimes they get offended if you don't offer to pay, and sometimes they get offended if you do offer to pay, and you never really know. But
I mean, when you think, and I'm a big, nothing's new under the sun. I'm kind of the Ecclesiastes type of person, but when you look back, like it, not to get too far into it, but when you look back at history, when every civilization has started to demasculinize men, like making them more feminine, like Egypt with makeup or Rome with looking more feminine, things have gone progressively bad until they just don't exist anymore. That's kind of been, I like the idea of men being men. I mean, I'm not a lumberjack. I wish I could. I'm 5'4", so big trees don't work for me. But like the idea of men being men, like when you think about, I don't know, pre-depression, even post-depression, when you look at guys that are wearing suits to work every day, that are well taken care of, that were providing for their family, playing the man's role, into now when you're looking at guys that, I run an advertising business, so I'm constantly in the hiring process. When you say things like, well, you got to show up to work every day, and people are like, why would I do that? Like, why? Yeah. And it's just in general, why? The world is a mind-blowing place right now. But
my brother is a short guy, Tony Bruno. He's a short guy, little guy. He's always been a little guy, but don't tell him that. He thinks he's like 6'4". He was at the conference with me, and Ivan Throne walks in the room. You know who Ivan Throne is?
Yeah.
He wrote the 9 Laws. He's a philosopher. Literally, he's like a ninja kind of guy. Brilliant. One of the most brilliant minds I've ever known in my life. And Ivan might be 6'4", 6'6". I'm not sure. Ivan walks in the room, and Tony like elbows me and says, I think I could take him.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know that he's like 5'6". My brother doesn't. He just like shortness. And I know Brzezinski's like what? Like 7'9".
Yeah. Him and Manholes both are just huge.
Exactly. But I've known plenty of tall guys that have a short man's mentality. I've known plenty of short guys that have a big man's mentality. So let's not talk about height. Let's talk about mentality, because we all vary in our height, but we shouldn't vary in our mentality. I'm dating a woman years ago. We hear a noise out the front window. You probably heard this story. Fireplace is roaring. We're watching a movie. We're watching a VHS. We went to Blockbuster, got a movie, and we're sitting on the couch, and we hear a noise out the front window. This was at her house. I run over to the fireplace, grab the fireplace poker, and run outside. And it was a raccoon in the bushes. I come back in. She's like, I'm like, what? She goes, I can't believe you did that. I said, what? She goes, I can't believe you ran out there. And I said, isn't that like what all guys would do? She says, my ex-husband would be crouching behind the couch calling 911. I'm like, oh my God, really? So men rush to chaos. We don't run from it. We like the challenge. We like solutions. Masculinity is about solutions. Masculinity is about leading. Where do you want to go to dinner? I don't know. Where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go? You know what? You know what turns a woman on? This is where we're going to go to dinner. This is what you should wear. Ooh.
Absolutely.
Women love that. Now, that's a broad brushstroke right there. Not all, but most, as Jesse Lee Peterson would say. But the reality is, step up to the plate, guys. It's not egalitarianism. It's complementarianism, okay? A woman's softness, like Jennifer said, okay, you've been out killing people all day, chopping trees down, murdering armies. Now you're home. Let me rub your back. Let me calm the fires down a little bit, okay? No man wants to come home to someone else who's chopping trees down and making a killing and closing sales. It's like, come on, relax. They compliment us. They compliment us. Women on Instagram, look at my muscle. Look at this. I'm like, ooh, like really? Wait, what is that? Did someone Photoshop a girl's head on a man's body? I like my women to look like women. What a concept.
Shocker.
Jeez.
What else you got, Tyson? I've been talking this whole time.
I don't have a bunch else. I just love listening. Like I want to dig in more sometime, not necessarily today, but on types of hair, what you see in the microscope side of things, porosities. Maybe we can get you back for a second time, but usually we try to go about an hour, and we've been an hour and 15 minutes. So I want to let everybody get going, let you get going, and we appreciate. Where are you at anyway?
Philly.
Okay, so
He's up there by John.
Okay, cool. So it's like dinner time, man.
What does John call Philly? The city of brotherly shove? Is that what he called it?
Something like that. Like I've known a couple people from Philly, and they always talk about it like it's rough.
Yeah, there used to be a sign many years ago. There was a I don't know, some like city council came up with like these slogans for Philly, and it was like Philadelphia, the city that loves you back. And I heard a comedian say, man, they should change that to Philadelphia, watch your back.
Yeah.
Now, I got to be careful because I know Brzezinski lives in Philly, and I believe his wife is on like the board or something, or on city council or something like that. So I don't want to insult hardworking people's attempt to make the cradle of liberty a beautiful place. So just like any city, there's good spots, there's not so good spots, and I would love everyone to visit Philly at least once in your life, and make sure to wear a bulletproof vest and have pepper spray. I take that back. Sorry.
I'm coming to get a haircut.
Just a bulletproof vest.
I'm coming to get a beard trim and a haircut.
I welcome that. Luckily, I'm outside the city, so it's beautiful. There's kind of where I'm working. There's cornfields and cows, so it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like
so, Tyson, do you have any? Yeah, Tyson's right there at Mount Rushmore. So.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Tyson, do you have any closing comments, thoughts, anything?
No, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your Saturday to join us and to answer questions that everybody came in and asked, and for sharing your insights. And I think a lot of people, according to the comments and what I've been reading along with, a lot of people really appreciate your insights and what you've had to say. So I just want to thank you for coming on. And that's about all I got. What do you got to finish up, David?
So one, if you haven't already, I know I've seen it in the comments. Go check out George's channel. Like, do yourself a favor. go look at it. I know Mo the Bearded Shark just came in, said he was one of the first people that he watched on YouTube, which Mo's now broke the 1K barrier on the YouTube channels, which is awesome. So congratulations again, Mo, even though it's late. But I just want to say, George, I really hope we can sit down again because there's just so much. I'm actually debating going. You guys are in Florida this year for the 21 conference, if it happens, right?
Yeah.
October?
It's October 1st, yeah.
And I saw an interesting thing. Tyson, I'm not saying I'm going to kidnap you for a couple days, but I did see a bring a friend for free thing. So
it is
fun.
Let me put it this way. It's an incredible event. It's there's dinners every night. The networking is insane. People are dressing better every year. People are just like killing it there. Contacts are being made. A guy came up to me last year and said, so good to see you, man. I loved your speech last year. And I'm like, and he was acting like he knew me. And I'm like, have we met before? And he whips out his phone and shows me a picture of him at about 320 pounds. And the man in front of me was about 185 pounds. And he goes, "You are the reason why I lost all this weight."
That's awesome.
So from year to year, I see changes in men. There's men who keep coming back year after year. And it's not a macho fest. I wouldn't quite call it a masculine fest, but I would call it kind of like the TED Talk conference for men. Something like that. It's very geared towards men. Women don't know what to do when men get together. They have no idea what to do. But the night before the conference starts, we're all in the having a reception in the bar area of the hotel. And it happened to be Pride Week in Orlando. And I'll never forget a woman saying, "Oh," like different guys would come in. Jack Donovan, Ivan Throne, a lot of big names come in. We're all shaking hands, giving bro hugs and stuff like that. And this woman says to me, she goes, "Oh, are you here for a conference?" And I said, yeah, it's a men's conference. She goes, "Oh, that is just so awesome. I'm all about equality." And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was just kind of interesting where I said, yeah, it's a conference about men and masculinity. And then she just like looked at me like all of a sudden I was like Jar Jar Banks, like her head. You know how dogs, when they go like that, like dogs, she looked at me like that. She didn't know what to do when men were getting together, lifting up other men, making each other strong, encouraging one another, making their mark in society, walking taller, taking care of themselves. Because every guy that walks in at the 21 convention looks like a Navy SEAL by the second year that they attend. First year, they might not. But people are like, it's just like a Navy SEAL convention. Everyone is just like so motivated. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I'm definitely thinking about it. But I'm like Tyson. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming in and joining us. I hope we can do it again soon. And I guess that wraps up this version. Guys, keep an eye out on all the social medias for whatever's coming next. And guys, have a great day. Tyson, you want to end it out as usual?
Yep. Thank you guys for being here. And don't forget to be you and be bearded.